cut too much, you start to take the soul out of the video and out of the person behind, like in front of the camera. Whenever we open a brand new bag of coffee, there's always this anticipation because pretty much we hardly ever get the same bag twice. Not by choice, but it's mostly we just get whatever is the cheapest, like beans that are around us, or whatever we can get, like easily. Like yesterday, we were supposed to go to the grocery store, but we ended up just going to a local coffee shop because it was down the street versus like a 3 mile walk. After a couple of sips of this new coffee, it's good. It tastes like milk chocolate, but it also tastes kind of florally. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather have like nutty coffee. It's just kind of getting into the weeds, but typically there's like, you can either have like floral coffee or nutty coffee. I hate floral coffee. To me, it tastes like I'm eating a flower. The nutty coffee tastes a little better to me. Yet in yesterday's video, I talked about explaining why I'm doing like more of the longer form content and going into it with a little more detail. And that's what I intend to do today. So yesterday's video was, I think it was like 18 and a half minutes, which is by far one of the longer videos of like on my channel. And a large portion of it was just a talking head. Like a large portion of it was just me in a room with a tripod talking to you. And one of the things I wanted to try to do with this new Day in the Life series is make my content feel more, not more relatable, I guess, but more personal and more like you're in the room with me, and more, just more like impactful. And I basically just wanted it to feel more genuine at the heart of it. And I think the voiceover stuff really does help with that. It gives it like an intimacy that was lacking beforehand. Not to say the other stuff was bad. It's just a little bit different in presenting the information in a way that I think feels a little more intimate, a little more thought out, and a little more like you're in the room with me. And these talking heads of having longer clips and me just letting the camera roll, even if like I have to stop and talk again, like just there. I think that lends to it feeling more like you're in the room with me, and it feels a little more like you're just hanging out with me and you're a friend, instead of me like chopping and clipping all of the ums or all of the pauses out. To me, I think, and I'm guilty of this, but I think if you cut too much, you start to take the soul out of the video and out of the person behind, like in front of the camera. And I think a lot is said in the pauses, just as much as like the words that you're speaking. And I think cutting those pauses out really gives you, like, it takes it from like a 3-dimensional conversation to like a 2-dimensional conversation. It really takes a lot out of it, and that's just what I've kind of noticed just editing these. If you have any thoughts, let me know down below. That's pretty much the big idea of it. Like I want these videos to feel more like you're in the room with me and less like I'm like chopping them and producing them. But also with the B-roll, I want it to like also like tell a story, and maybe even a secondary story while I'm narrating on top of that. So like a lot of little moving parts, a lot of subtle things that I think lend to make a better product. But again, let me know what you think down below. That's pretty much the thought process. And the longer videos too. I don't really care about this, but a lot of people have told me that the longer videos YouTube likes more because it keeps people on the platform. I don't know how true that is, and like I said, I don't really care about that. I care more about the other things that I mentioned before. That's like, if I had to put a percentage on that, that's probably like maybe 5% or even 2% of the reasoning behind it. And that's just more out of curiosity, like, oh, let's see if it actually works. Yeah. Also, during that entire little section, the cat's litter box is back there, and he was going to the bathroom, but he's never figured out how to actually use the litter box, so he'll just scrape the sides for, I'm not kidding, like sometimes it's up to 20 minutes because he's trying to cover his business, and he never does. Like, and he just doesn't understand it. We've tried explaining it to him as much as we can with a cat, and he just so if you heard that, that's what that was. Today I have to edit a couple of shorts. I typically do these in batches, mostly just because it's just easier for me to just do like 6 of them at a time, and then then I don't have to work on it for a couple of days. And I'm on my last ones today, meaning that I have to do that. I have to make them today. One of the things that I like, and I think it's kind of funny, is when you compare editing shorts to editing long form videos, they're pretty much completely opposite. Like with shorts, you want to tell a concise story as effectively and quickly as you possibly can, so that you keep people's interest and you keep them invested. With long form content, it's complete opposite. Like you want to keep a pace and like still tell a story, but you can really string things out and really like go off of like just different like side tangents, and you're allowed a little bit more flexibility and freedom when you're making a video. But despite how long it is, or how long the pace is, or how many side tangents you go off of, I think that the most important thing is going to be crafting and telling a story well. Basically meaning that you have to, like, to the beginning, you have to establish like what the normal is, you have to establish where you are, what you're doing, then you present a problem, and you present a problem or solution to that problem, and then probably show the problem being solved. That in essence is pretty much what a story is. Obviously it can change, and the borders are really broad, but at the heart of it, short form or long form, that's what makes a good video good or not. Also, yes, I did make a second cup of coffee. I ran, and I'm tired after the run. Sometimes in Nashville, the path that I run, I refer to it as a wind tunnel, and sometimes you're running with the wind, and sometimes you're running against the wind. And today I ran against the wind, going to like my destination, and then coming back, which makes no sense, but I was running into a headwind for 7.5 miles, and I'm tired. Hence the second cup of coffee. Also, this coffee is pretty good. One thing that is interesting to me with coffee is depending on the temperature, like if it's like hot, warm, like cold, it'll bring out different nodes or different flavors within the coffee. I didn't know that until recently. One of my friends that's a barista actually mentioned that to me, and he's totally right. Some coffees are better cold, and some coffees are better hot, and some are better. This one's better warm. This is like medium. It's not steaming hot, but it's not room temperature, and it tastes better. It mostly gets the floral taste out of it. Couple minutes and answer questions. I've shared with you why I typically do this in video format, but if you haven't heard that yet, then pretty much what you need to know, all you need to know is I'm terrible at responding to texts, comments, or any other kind of thing that involves texting on my phone. So because of that, I just literally screen record your questions, read them out loud, and answer them in this format. It works a little bit better for me. And it gets your questions answered. So that's pretty much, that's what I'm gonna do right now for like the next like couple minutes. How are you feeling right? So what he's referring to, the video is talking about me flying on a first class like flight. Granted, it was only for 2 hours, and it was basically just an upgraded, like we got it for free, and I was just talking about how it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. You'll have to watch the full video to get the full context, but that's what the next couple of questions are going to be about. And how did it feel? Honestly, when people were walking by, I just tried not to make eye contact, and I just stared at my phone and just mindlessly scrolled, because it was kind of awkward. Almost like, yeah. So I actually told Savannah about that. It might have been. For those of you that don't know, she's one of the actresses in Sons of Anarchy. Kind of cool. Take a 10-hour first class. Yeah, honestly, and if I don't think you watched my video, but in my video I actually mentioned it was only 2 hours, so that's not a real like test to see if it actually is better. I'm sure a 10-hour flight I would gladly take a business or a first class seat over a coach seat, because 10 hours on a flight is a long time. Oh, these videos are getting longer, or is it just me? They are. I'm I'm glad you noticed. And thanks. My knee is feeling kind of wonky for running, but other than that, it's feeling great. Tell me you lined that up on the shelf. I'm so glad that somebody noticed that. Yes, it was on purpose, and I'll do that a lot, just to like help like cut the music out and give it like a purpose instead of it just randomly cutting out. And there's a couple of other things that I do with music to help get myself like in or out of a song, and I should make a video about that. If you want me to, let me know down below. Even if nobody says anything, I'll probably still make a video about it because I think it's important. I'm 1 week into making vlogs. That's amazing. And yeah, it's hard, but that's such a good attitude to have. I think a lot of times when you start making videos, you can be overly critical and overanalyze things. And I think for me, the best way to get over that, or to like get past that, is just by making things, and making a lot of things in a short amount of time. That's typically that works best for me, to just do that, because I'll totally overthink it and just get scared of even starting, because I'll talk myself out of it. Yeah, I mentioned this in that video, but I'm really excited, and I really hope YouTube gets back to like just being authentic, and just being like, just having normal people make videos instead of like these overhyped, super cut, highly produced things. If I want to check that out, then I'll go to like Hollywood, or I'll go to like Netflix and watch that stuff. I come to YouTube for the simplistic, relatable content. So I hope YouTube gets back to that. I think that's a good place to end this little Q&A. Thank you for your comments, and I'll see you on the next one whenever I decide to do that. If I'm being really completely honest, I'll do those when, one, I remember to do them, but also if I feel like I need something to talk about, or I feel like I need more like material within a video, then I'll always go to that. And having those to go to, I'm incredibly grateful, because well, if without your questions, then that wouldn't even be a consideration. So thank you for that. It's also so windy up here. Like during my run and stuff, it was way windier, but this is a good representation of just how windy it is.